And now, talking about the pain of the families waiting for word for 300 days, we now welcome Ilay David, whose brother Evyatar was abducted by Hamas on the 7th of October and is still being held captive in Gaza. He joins us from Tel Aviv. Ilay, 300 days since your brother was abducted from the Nova Music Festival. We cannot imagine what your family has been going through. How are you doing? What are your thoughts on this day?
Hi, Benita. Thank you. It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare, and it's going on for 300 days. Actually, I'm worried about the hostages still alive. I just keep thinking about my brother being tortured, and it breaks my heart to think that there are so many dozens of people waiting for us to save them. And it breaks my heart every time.
The pressure right now for a deal, given that your brother has been in captivity for 300 days, what appeal would you want to make right now? It's such a critical time in this war. What message would you want to be sending to Israeli leaders?
The message should be that right now, not bringing back the hostages means abandonment, and abandonment is something, it's a stain we cannot live with as the Jewish people, as the Israeli people, as the state of Israel. That will be the best accomplishment, bringing back the hostages, the best accomplishment ever. It will be the real victory we need right now, and only after that we can deal with the radical evil on the other side. We have so many years to do so. And unfortunately, it's going to be a long struggle and a long war. It's ongoing for dozens of years, and it's going to continue, unfortunately. But the hostages are running out of time, and we have to bring them back first.
And when we're talking about all the tensions that have developed in recent days in terms of these assassinations, we know Antony Blinken is calling on all parties to stop actions that could escalate the situation, again calling on parties to reach a ceasefire. What do you make of these efforts out of the US 300 days in? Because, of course, the hostages include 8 Americans too.
Yes. I do think that the American people are very helpful, and President Biden had tremendous efforts to help us, and of course other officials. But I think that from the start, many mistakes have been made, and it still affects till that day. I think if the American pressure was greater on the negotiators, then the hostages could come home faster. We need to think like the radical evil on the other side. We have to think like them to understand what is the right pressure on them. And I think we are still stuck in our old morals, like the Western ones. We have to think like we're in the Middle East in order to solve this problem. But I do really want to thank the American people, President Biden, for your support, and it's not something I think we are used to as the Israeli state.
And of course, it bears repeating that there needs to be pressure on Hamas itself, whether it's through Qatar, the US, Egypt, any other willing player to try and reach a deal right now. We wait to see how it all unfolds, of course complicated by the fact that Ismail Haniyeh is no longer. But right now, we want to thank you, Ilay David. The heart of the nation is with you. We hope for good news about Evyatar, of course, and all the hostages. And thank you, as always, for speaking to us on I-24 News.
Thank you.